All right, welcome back to another episode of the Bodybuilding Breakdown. I am your host, Kenson Jardine, EP09 Bodybuilding. I am joined today by a very prestigious panel. We have Josh Saunch of the Bodybuilding News Network. We have Marx Max Muscle, and we have Xavier Wills of Desktop Bodybuilding. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. What's going on?
How are we doing, gentlemen?
Not much is going on. It's just, well, I don't know what time it is your guys' time, but it's like midday for me, like middle of the day. And you guys, I think it's like late night your time. So we're just a day ahead. So not much is going on.
Quarter after 9 p.m.
Yeah, we're just after 9. Saunch is sitting at about 5 o'clock, and you're sitting at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, so we're everywhere.
Australia is literally on the exact opposite of the Earth of Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was when I was trying to line all this up, I was like, I need to start writing down these time zones. I'm starting to get used to it now from guys in different time zones and stuff. But yeah, it's good. We got it done.
Well, Saunch travels all over the United States, so you don't know what time it is.
Yep.
He probably doesn't as he's driving. He got to change his watch.
That's automatic at this point.
Yeah.
Just look at the sun, put your finger in the air, and you get it.
Yep.
About 4:30 p.m.
Pull up my sextant.
Yeah. No, that's my job. No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, I've got a couple of things here. We've got a few questions that we'll end up going through, but before we get to that, a couple of things that I wanted to kind of get into here. We've got the Shrew Classic coming up. I don't know if actually, I think everybody's done a little bit on the Shrew at this point on their own channels. And Mark, I know you have.
I haven't.
No,
I've been absent.
We're not going. We're not going to do no predictions then. No predictions.
I just did a top 4 prediction for 212 and Classic.
Classic, yep.
Okay. Well, we'll look at the list here from our friends at Bodybuilders Without Borders. I'll share my screen for you guys here.
Beautiful. I know Terrence Ruffin's doing the Classic, and who else is in that one?
In Classic?
Not many big names.
No,
not in Classic. Names. No.
Okay.
No.
I believe there was a guy that placed 5th at the Romania.
Yep.
Is Urs Kalasinski doing it?
No, that's too bad.
He's doing
the Prague.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. The Shrew. The Prague is what I want to talk about. Boys, like I said, it's late.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, good start. Share my screen here. So again, thank you very much, Daniel, at Bodybuilders Without Borders. Really good lineup here, man. Like almost unbelievable for the second show. And it's only the second show for the 2024 qualifiers. Like this is an unbelievable lineup, and we just had an unbelievable lineup. Now,
aside from the 2 big ones, this is probably your biggest show, as far as the competition. Aside from Arnold Classic and the Olympia.
Yeah. I love how Horse MD literally has horse at the start of his name now. It's Horse Muscle.
That's new. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, that was good. I wonder if he put it in names. There. Man,
I always wondered how that worked. Like, is it the legal name they have to put? Because if you look at Mo Foda from 2021, when he did the KO Squad Pro, he had like 10 words in his name. Like I've always wondered how those
change their names on these all the time.
I can't stand when they have 10 names. Very difficult to find these guys. And
you look them up on Instagram, you can't find them.
Yan needs to get his name changed on these. It's Xiaoming.
It is. The Korea shows are the toughest because they will have one name on Instagram. They will have another when it comes to being announced at the show, and it's another when you go to search them on NPC News Online.
Popularity. It hurts their popularity.
100%. But I think it's pretty fair to say what we're going to be looking at for top 5. Unless there's a little bit of a wrench in the gears for that, but we'll get into that in a second. I mean, Horse MD, we're going to see him hit top 5. Nathan, he'll hit top 5 here, right?
those two.
Samson.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Samson, Krizo, which is the battle I'm really looking forward to. That
That's the
fifth
top
place
four.
spot, there's your top four, but that fifth place spot could be, you could have a toss up between a few different guys here, really. I mean, realistically, Roman, of course, Roman Fritz, he's going to be in the contention for a top 5 spot. Ming Yan, if he comes in shredded, possibilities there. He did beat Roman at one show earlier in the 2023 season, right? Keep that in mind.
Oh, was that the Olympus or the Olympia? Italy?
Italian Olympus, I think.
I don't think it was the Olympus, was it? It was
No.
the Italy show something. It was the one that Nathan Diasher won.
Yes. Yeah.
I think what's his name won the Olympus. Theo Laguerre.
Theo Laguerre. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know that Sarhan is looking good too. I don't think that he'll be able to crack the top 5 in this one, though.
Jan
but
Tarak.
Well, yeah, Jan Tarak is Jan Tarak. He's a good competitor as well, right? So, like I said, there's a few guys that could end up in that top 5, right? But there's one wrench in the gears for this show. Does anybody know who I'm talking about?
Oh, the guy that needs to get his pro card. Big neck.
Yes, Rubio, Nexzilla.
Yes, Rubio Mascara. He is competing in the amateur show tomorrow, and he is intending to compete on this stage with the boys. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Well, they should anyway. Might as well. You're in shape. I mean, you still get your spray tan on.
I know, but I don't think I can emphasize enough how well this individual could do in this show, because there was actually a video uploaded to Fouad Abiad's channel. AJ Kelly Robert did an interview with him, and the guy hit a front double, he hit a back double, a back lat, and dude, I think he's going to blow past Xu Ming Yan. I think he's going to blow past Roman Fritz, and I think he might even blow past Nathan and Horse MD.
Whew. It's going to be big. It's going to be like how he's going to stack up. If the dude stacks up well, he's going to do good.
He's weighing 286 pounds right now.
How tall is he?
He looks he's in around the height of Chris Cormier. So what's that, like 5'8" or 5'9", something like that?
He's close. Well, he's wearing shoes, right? He's going to be taller. He was like 5'10", I think, in his prime, close to it.
He's 286, and I think Samson's probably going to have 5 or 6 inches on him. I think maybe not that much, but he's not going to be the tallest guy in the lineup.
No, Krizo's got to be 6 feet.
Yeah, I think.
Do you think stepping into the open, like in pro bodybuilding, he'll be hard enough in terms of conditioning? I know, like, Cormier's got out there.
I didn't see it in the videos. I thought he looked pretty soft.
That's the lineup anyway.
Yeah.
Who did you think looked soft?
Nexzilla.
Okay.
I haven't seen much of him. Seen much of him, to be honest. Like, I don't want to have an opinion on him till I see him on the stage compared to other guys under the same lighting, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like hard to, like, there's another guy, Vito, what's his name? Good Vito.
Good Vito, sure.
Great, but you need to see him next to some big dudes.
I saw Good Vito in his pro qualifier on YouTube, so I was watching it live. And when you see the individual stills, you're like, oh yeah, Good Vito's crazy, the shape is insane. But when I was watching it live, I'm like, this guy that has nowhere near the same physique that Good Vito has right next to him is so much crisper and so much harder. Really? And you see Good Vito from the back, and he just looks a bit washed out a little bit, I'd say. But then I'd see photos, I'm like, well, he looks pretty damn good there. But I think when Good Vito hits the pro ranks, I think we might see a different level of conditioning and hardness and maturity to the muscle that he maybe won't have. And I don't know, this guy though, Nexzilla, he's wild. I was talking to Chris, I actually heard Chris Cormier, and he actually sent me a voice message saying he's going out to train him the last few weeks out there before this contest. And I mean, Chris was saying, like, this dude has like no myostat, and he said for what he's been doing, and for how he looks, he's like it doesn't add up. Like it doesn't make any sense at all. So the fact that he's not doing the right thing already and he looks like that, it's like, what could he get to if he does everything right? You know,
Hopefully he does everything right.
hope.
Well, he's doing something right working with Chris Cormier right off the bat, but I wonder if Fuad will get mad at me if I show a quick clip off of his channel. I don't own any of this video, everybody.
He'll
I'm
be
just gonna show you.
fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
He's all right.
It'll be fine.
As long as it's not center podium, you should be fine.
Check this out.
Oh yeah, I
see
didn't
that?
see
Okay.
this.
Yeah,
I know you.
Yeah,
I know you didn't see this, Saunch. I know you didn't see this. I know none of you guys saw this. You know how I know?
No.
Because you guys didn't have him in the top 3.
Well, it's hard to tell anything from this anyway, really, with the lower half. I mean, he's a thick guy.
Wow.
Not hard
Oh
to
yeah,
tell.
the conditioning's coming through for sure.
It's not hard to tell. He's insane.
He looks like maybe Carlos Thomas Jr. level of conditioning.
Yeah.
Which is good condition. You can win a pro show, but not against the top of the top. I mean, like I said about Horse MD, if he places 3rd at that last show, that'll be a victory for him. And if this guy can get in 3rd, he's not going to get 2nd. I mean, you never know.
So.
You never know with bodybuilding. Hey, everybody at the Olympia got a better placing than Nick Walker, so you don't know. You know.
Well, that video is one day out. He's at the show. You know, man, I could see it. Like we just watched Horse MD do it, and you mentioned Carlos Thomas Jr. at the Texas. He took 3rd, right behind Hunter and Andrew. Right?
How many pro shows this year would have he won?
These are not uncommon situations to take place in this past year of bodybuilding, right? It's not outside. It's well within the realm of possibility. He's insane, man. He's insane. I've been covering him for a bit now, and I know that you guys have as well, right? And I really think that he looks like he's on another level. He looks like he's got it together.
Carlos?
Well, Carlos is on his way, but Nexzilla in particular.
Oh yeah. He's.
I can never think of his name. Nexzilla.
Yeah.
Rubio, right?
Isn't it Rubiel?
Rubiel?
Yeah. Rubiel. Yes. Yeah. Rubiel. His English actually is not bad either.
Oh, good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Pretty good. He's like on Crizzo's level. Yeah. Yeah.
I love when Crizzo was
sorry.
interviewed backstage. No, it was at the Meet the Olympians.
Yeah, it was at the Olympia.
Said,
Tuesday.
How long have you? Where are you from? Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday. And it just went along like nothing happened. I was just like, oh my god.
Hey, if he's got a sense of humor, maybe he's just jerking around and just saying that on purpose.
Yeah. Dude. I saw a clip of NASA Elson Buddy the other day, and it was like, oh, tell us about how you think you'll look against your competition. He's like, oh, no, I don't think I did answer that. And then they're like, do you have any advice for any young guys coming up? No. And just gave her nothing, like 4 straight answers of nothing. I'm like,
I saw that one.
She was like, yeah,
I did. I saw
up there.
Yeah. No. Do you have any hobbies outside of bodybuilding? No, I have none. No. Not like gave her no.
He's
0.
all sitting there in a suit and he's like sweating. He's like, no carbs, 0 carbs. He's ready to snap probably. And he's like, these stupid questions, get it away from me right now.
Yeah,
I want to go pose.
He wanted nothing to do with it. No, nothing to do with it. No. Crizzo seems to be kind of a baseline. Got like he's got that sense of humor that you would expect from the Slovakian part of the world. You got to know how to take it, right? It's very stern, but he seems like he's a pretty chill guy, overall. Yeah.
He'll say some things like he'll stir the pot a little bit, but nothing too bad.
He's confident. He's not too confident now. He did say he would beat Samson, but I would expect that from him. Not to beat him, but to say so.
You think he's going to beat Samson?
No, I don't think he's going to beat Samson. Absolutely not. I shouldn't say absolutely not. I think that there's a possibility if Samson ends up being a little bit off in comparison to Krizo, who I think is going to come in sharper and fuller than he was at the Olympia. But all these guys have been post Olympia. Every one of them that we've seen compete so far.
Yeah, there's
no. I find like now, like matchups are more important in bodybuilding. I've just like noticed because you look at Samson at last week's contest. It's like on the Olympia stage, I don't think Beirut would have been up in like 4th or 5th place. Well, you never know, but and he just looks so much closer to Samson in this lineup. Like with, I don't know, the combination of Horse MD there and all these other impressive guys. I'm like, this is way closer than I thought it could ever possibly be, sort of thing. So, and I think it was a lineup that probably didn't work for Samson and didn't work for Nathan. And I don't think Nathan was at his best either, but it was just like, it just seemed that like when Nathan does shows with a bunch of taller guys, it just sort of hurts him a bit. And then when he does shows against guys that are shorter, it's like, whoa, Nathan. But then you look at him against Regan. I had him beating Regan.
Well,
I don't know. It's so tough.
Harder. I think he was a lot harder than Regan.
And everyone's so much closer now because like Fuad on the most recent, I think it was Bro Chat, but he just put up the other day. He said initially when he did his predictions for this show, he had Horse MD above Krizo. And I'm like, Krizo's, what was he, 7th in the Olympia? So it's like you have him above a guy who's 7th in the Olympia. Then you've got Xaxier beating Horse MD, or do you? I think. What do you guys do?
I didn't have him in my prediction simply because he didn't have the pro card yet.
I'm gonna pull a Marx Max Muscle and I'm gonna throw out the Hail Mary, the unlikely situation.
Hey, you never know.
Hey, you never know. I'm fairly confident. I'm very optimistic. Just he really does look insane. If you go back and watch the video beyond what I showed you on the live stream portion, like watch it again, dude, it's there. You know, the only thing could be the midsection, but you know what? Standing next to Krizo, I think that it's going to be comparable because Krizo doesn't have the smallest midsection either, right? So in that sense, I don't know.
It's not the smallest midsection.
Same thing with Horse MD, right? Horse MD is not, I don't think, as wide of a waist in appearance as Krizo. We'll know once they stand on stage next to each other. But
his waist looked so much smaller before. I think maybe, I don't know, he drank too much water. It's a horse. You got to take their head away because a horse will just keep drinking, right?
He went on the Milos protocol is what happened.
He did look a little bit bloated, I thought, in the midsection, but maybe he just needed more time to trim down. I don't know. Just going by his last performance. His last performance, his midsection looked like that.
Yeah. No, it would.
It's funny. It almost looks like the structure from the side has come out, like his hips have come out a little bit because it's like before, like that photo it came right in, and I'm like, well, surely his lats haven't got smaller. Like his back double bicep Horse MD, I thought was like very weak in the lineup.
Yeah,
like, that's why I thought Nathan. I'm like, well, I know it's one. People are like, oh, it's one shot. I'm like, yeah, but it's one shot. And it's a big difference, you know. But he did have some impressive other shots where I thought he beat Nathan, but. I was like, that shot's enough. Good. It was weird, but then he had his hands sitting all weird, like he just had his fingers.
Yes, he did. Yes,
everywhere when he's doing those shots. And then on his front lat spread, he had his wrists down like that when they should be like that. You know, he was for me. I was like, that is just he's a rookie. But I was going to say it's a rookie error, you know. But if he can refine it and get that better, then I think that it makes him even more impressive. So. The judges like him, so he should do. He's doing this weekend, isn't he?
Evidently.
Yeah,
yes.
Of course.
Yeah. He'll probably do a lot of shows this year.
You think he will?
Makes sense.
I think so. Why not? You know, I mean, I haven't looked at this. I haven't looked at the schedule this year, but there's got to be. I mean, usually the pro league shuts down around like the end of December, and then it opens back up around the Arnold Classic.
I haven't looked either.
I think there's one or two more shows I'll open up now. I've got the ifbb Pro website open, but
sure, yeah.
So we've got the Japan Pro as the last one in the open. Yeah. So this is the second last one actually this weekend. So I've only got one more after this, and that's weekend following. So yeah, the last one's on the 26th. Sorry, 26th of November.
Okay.
Is there any more open?
No, that's the last one next weekend.
Yeah.
Until when?
There's probably other divisions like 212 and stuff, but
well, no, I mean, speaking open though, like that's it until 2024.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be the
We're
Arnold,
gonna be
I
doing a
guess.
lot more podcasts, boys.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then
the Arnold,
the Arnold invite list will come out, and then people will be posting Arnold, who's doing the Arnold, who's in, who's out, and all that
10
sort of stuff. So
10 prediction lists.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so yeah. There'll be plenty of that leading up to the Arnold, and I'm sure those of us do interviews and stuff. We can get some interviews with those guys, and then Mark, you can do like all these previews of Martin Fitzwater versus James Hollingshead and stuff like that.
Oh, you gotta have a Martin Fitzwater comparison.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do they get good views, Martin ones?
I don't know. I like the guy. I like his physique.
Yeah. Do they get good views though? The videos you do with him compared?
They're decent. You're not gonna get a huge big spike out of them, but they're decent. But that's somebody requests one, I'm more than happy to do it.
Yeah. You've got so many up there now, man. It's awesome. Like I love them. Like I'll just search two bodybuilders' names that I'm like, oh, maybe there's a photo of next to each other on like Google image search. And there's always a Marx Max Muscle like this guy, this guy. And I click on it just to see
when
if
I'm dead and gone. When I'm dead and gone, they can look up any comparison on my channel, still be there, and they'll be able to find it. A database of comparisons.
That's cool. I love that.
It's there. No, it's there. I figure Martin still has to get another competitive season and really do well in a few pro shows, and then you'll see, like he's got it. He's just got to go put it out there.
He's been doing tough shows too. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
The
show he got second at to Andrew Jack. That was like he beat Kamal, he beat Quentin Araya, he beat Steve Kuklo. Steve Kuklo wasn't bad there either.
He beat the
King Snake, was that good.
There was a few big guys there. Jeff Charon Fond, or I can't remember his name, something like that.
Yes. Big Bundy.
Yes, Big Bad Bundy.
Yeah.
They beat good dudes in that lineup, and people forget it as well. And I think that was his best for that season. And then he went and did the Arnold UK, and I think he placed
wasn't as good.
What did he place? Fourth or fifth, and he was just like not
because
James
Hollings had placed ahead of him, and then there was Patrick Johnson placed second.
Yep.
And then Jack won.
When is the Arnold UK scheduled for? Does anybody know?
2 weeks after the Arnold.
Right after the Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
150K prize money.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And
so if you win both, you win 450K if you win the Arnold and then the Arnold UK. Wow. So like it's a lot of money.
And Samson's doing both. Shows. And Samson's doing both, yeah. Not to mention the Olympia qualifications that are right. I've actually seen people, not many, but I have seen some online that are a little bit less enthused about Samson taking away these Olympia qualifications. There are only so many pro shows, and now with the point system axed, which I don't think they're going to bring back. I hope they don't bring it back. I doubt they'll bring it back. Anyway, some people are less than happy with the fact that there are going to be potentially less really good bodybuilders that could be standing on that stage, because the shows that he is winning now, he is taking it away from some very good bodybuilders. Look at Beirut Tabani, right? Who's going to be showing up to the Arnold that really we want to see on that stage? On one hand, does it take away qualifications? Yes. On the other hand, does it push these guys to keep going and doing shows to, really go improve themselves at the same time? Yeah, it does. So it's good for the fans, I think, in a lot of ways for him to do it, not just at those one shows. And that's one of the things that I really came to the conclusion of is, yeah, he's taken away qualifications if you want to look at it that way. But there's also the fact that these guys will have to continue competing and make these shows exciting as we continue through the season,
Well,
yeah, it's tough. It's tough at the end of the season. So you go, Mark.
The thing about Beirut, I guess he's not going to be going to the Olympia anyway, but that kind of sucks. But other than that, the next few shows that Samson will be doing, yes, he will be taking some tickets away. But I'm sure Michael Krizo will find another show. And who's that good for? It's good for the fans. They get to see Krizo compete again.
Yep.
I think ultimately the cream rises to the top, or what have you. The talent will be there.
It's Saunch. What do you think?
I'm all for it. I think about I talk a lot about bringing back that European Grand Prix post Olympia, where they had what was it, like 6 pro shows in 8 days, like, and you had all the top Olympians coming in and
You
doing
mean
those
back
shows.
in the day, like the late
Yeah,
90s?
yeah.
That was the sweet spot, man.
Right.
Kevin
And nobody was
Lebroni.
complaining that those guys, all those top pros were coming out of the Olympia and doing all those shows and sucking up all those qualifications. Like, I think it's only good for the sport, makes it very exciting. And as a commentator, it makes me want to cover the shows even more. I mean, you guys all know there's multiple shows every week. Where can we invest our energy? And when you see top pros do those shows, that's what makes it exciting.
Absolutely.
I wonder how many shows they could like pack in, like whether they could do like a all Friday show or like a Friday, Saturday show in like a neighboring country, maybe like across the border or something. They could do a show on the Sunday or something, like prejudging the morning. But obviously that could be taxing on the guys.
Was it Hollingshead that did that last year? Didn't he do a show on Saturday and then Sunday?
I don't know if he did it, but I know someone did.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. Somebody did it, and it was like, holy cow.
He did the tsunami. Or was it before that? He did the Europa, and then he did the British.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, because James took last year off, right? He's coming back this year to compete, I think. Yeah.
Maybe it was 2 years ago then. But yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Well, but I think they should. I don't know, like Bob Chicarella, he's mentioned like a bump system. So like if the guy's already qualified for the Olympia, then the next guy gets it. And I mean, it depends how many shows they have during the year, because we always have shows sometimes taken away and then added to the schedule later on as well. So I don't know if the 2024 schedule is actually even out yet. Do you guys know?
I haven't seen it, no.
I don't think
I haven't seen it. I usually do look it up, but I haven't looked it up.
I think if there's like anywhere under 20 shows, I think we could do like a bump system, because then it'd be 3 guys plus 20 maximum. And how many dropped out this year? I mean, it's a fair.
There's always going to be a couple of dropouts, no matter what.
Yeah,
I'm
happy we
counted
up like what, 7 this year.
It was like 7 or 8. Yeah, it was a lot.
There was 18 guys competing this year.
Yeah,
was it
17?
17 was 17. Yeah. See, that's
Ross didn't
fine.
Finish.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ross. He was dehydrated.
Yep.
Yeah. Poor guy. Poor guy. I like Ross.
Yeah. Good guy. Interview on my channel. Check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Saunch, you hit a lot. Dude, you hit a lot of interviews at the O this year. It was pretty awesome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was cool to see you there, man.
I really focused on putting the work in this year instead of being a fan. It's you got to take that shift if you want to grow, or at least try to catch up to some of you guys. You can't go to the Olympia, you can't go to the Arnold and just enjoy it. You got to go there and work. So I was there till like 11 o'clock at night every day. And then I would go to, I mean, you guys saw in my story, I was at Applebee's editing at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So just gotta make it work.
Drank lots of coffee, I'm sure.
Yeah. The views were atrocious though. So it is a real bummer on that side, but it's so much fun to just meet the athletes. And
well, you're building a base, right? You're building a base for your channel. You're building a big basement. So it's taking you longer, right? Hey, you haven't even gotten to your first floor yet. You're still building a big basement. And once you get there, hey, could have the biggest building of all.
You know what, dude? That's every one of us, though, to be honest. I mean, it was the same thing with like the interviews that I did. The views were not as much as my news updates, they're not. Xavier, you did an interview with Tonio. It was like 24 hours before the Olympia, and that was not it wasn't near the views that I thought it was going to be, man.
It was literally like I don't typically have big expectations of interview views. So like when I do a video that gets a lot of views, like I did the one with Justin Shire, that because obviously he spoke about the Fuad situation and all that at the time. It got like, I don't know, 40,000 views maybe, or something like that pretty quick. And I was like, whoa. And I'm like, that's great because, you know, longer form content, you know, you make more money off it as well, obviously. So you get more ads in there. But the Tonio one was like, by the time the Olympia started, I think it was a little bit over 1,000 views. And I was like,
it's a crime.
What? Considering all the videos around it were getting big views, like more than I normally get. So I was like, I don't even know how that works, but it's just the click-through rate. You know, if people are Olympia weekend, I just wanted to find the hottest, latest news, they're going to click on all the news videos. They're like, okay, 20-something minute interview or 30-minute interview, I can't remember how long it was, is here that I can watch about Tonio. But when you think about it, what do they think they're going to find out and get out of that interview that they won't get out of, oh, let's look at all these people's predictions. Let's look at this podcast, because they're going to talk about a whole range of things. When, unless it's like one of the top guys that close with that much selection out there in terms of videos to watch, then I just don't think it's going to get the views, unless it's a smaller pro show and it's like Tonio versus Ross, or it's Tonio versus Mikkel Krizo or something like that, and he's one of the top 2 guys. That I think that would get more views than Olympia week 24 hours out. So I don't know. It is frustrating though, because when you do this and you're like, cool, this will be great, these people, you know, my listeners will enjoy this, and it just doesn't get any traction. It's like frustrating. And so much. I saw like your Olympia content as well, and I also thought about it. And even though you might not have got the views you were hoping for, it's like you built so many connections that weekend just by interviewing people, talking. That's
exactly what I said.
For the future, for, you know, any sort of news you want to get, like, you know, these guys are going to have more trust in you meeting you in person. Because that's one thing I struggle with, that when I talk to some of these guys, I'm like, they don't know me. Like, realistically, they see what's up desktoppers, blah, blah, blah. They don't know who I am, you know? So I've even got it with pros where you can tell they're like hesitant to trust me in terms of telling me stuff. It's like, oh, like you want to be sort of friendly with people, but if it was like, oh wait, you're the YouTuber, you're the media guy, and sometimes you don't want to be perceived through that lens, which I find frustrating. But if you meet people in person, talk to them, have that connection, that's why I want to go to the Olympia and the Arnold and all that sort of stuff, and do that. Because I've done even past with the Australian Pro and Arnold Classic Australia, but that was years ago now. It's like a whole new crop's in. So
do they don't do the Arnold Australia anymore?
No, I was actually going to compete in the last one that was going to be on, and they held the amateur portion of the show. So I was going to compete in it, but even 5 days out, because the flights had to be changed before 5 days out if you're going to get a credit or anything. And the whole, you know, virus thing was kicking off. And then I just pulled out, and then they decided to have the amateur contest, but then they didn't. All the pros, like, I think a few of them got here to Australia. I know Chris Cormier was stuck in Australia for ages. Sergio Oliva Jr. was. So I think even Rami got to the airport to board to go to Australia, and they're just like, no, don't go. And Tony's like, don't bother coming. I think he went half his flight. I think he got stuck in another country or something trying to come to Australia. And then he couldn't get back to Egypt, I think, for like months and months and months.
Oh, so, he got stuck in Turkey, I think.
Samson
somewhere.
Wasn't Samson was stuck somewhere, I believe, too.
Oh, he went to Korea, yeah.
Oh, man,
That was a nightmare, yeah. That's horrible, because he went there for 2 weeks, and they're like, oh, stay in a hotel for 2 weeks, and then you get out and then do the show. But then they're like, oh, the show's been cancelled. And he's just like, what? And then it got delayed another 2 weeks. So they're like, we're not sure it will happen, but you can stay another 2 weeks. He's like, well, I'm out now. I can train in a gym. So stayed another 2 weeks. And then he lost by a point to miss out on his Olympic qualification. But I talked to him a few times, and sometimes like I remind him of that. I'm like, look at where you were back then and where you were placing, and look at where you are a couple of years later contending for the Olympia. I was like, dude. And I mentioned to him as well, I said, you on stage this year, you earned more money than anyone in the IFB Pro League, including Derek Lunsford, because of the Arnold Classic, plus he's placing at the Olympia, plus winning this last show, just puts him over that 400K. It's 410 so far. So pretty cool.
They should have bumped that Romania price up a little bit, considering the lineup, like they did with the Texas Pro. The Texas Pro had a pretty thick lineup, so they gave him an extra $5,000. And this one, I figured for sure.
I think they gave him an extra 10 in Texas. It was 20 grand, wasn't it?
Was it 20? Yeah. Well, that's
I'm
even
pretty
better.
sure.
And what's his name? Wesley Visser's got 2 grand.
Yeah,
That's pathetic, dude. That is pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic.
2
You know,
grand.
it
They
really
gave
is.
5 grand to 212.
yeah. I found that weird.
That's
I find
pathetic.
that
That's
very
pathetic
paid
too.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
212 usually
Both-
gets picked on, but it was reversed this time.
It was equal at the Olympia, I believe.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. I think it was 50 G notes for each.
Yeah, it was.
Considering Chris Bumstead's got to be the most popular bodybuilder that they got. I mean, classic should
hands
be.
down.
A lot of people like Chris Bumstead. My dad knows who Chris Bumstead is. You know what I mean? A lot of people know who Chris Bumstead is.
Yeah. It's quite funny. Like, I remember getting my hair cut by my barber, and he said, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I just do YouTube." Blah, blah, blah. "Oh, what sort of stuff do you cover?" And it sort of was, you know, and then I said something. He's like, "Oh, what sort of videos do you do stuff on?" And then I actually just did a video on Chris Bumstead. I was like, "Oh, and a guy called Chris Bumstead." He's like, "Oh, C-Bum." I'm just like,
amazing.
"Oh, how do you know him?" And I sort of just like asked that question. He's just like, "Oh, I don't know, just follow him on Instagram, you know, like to see some of his workout stuff." Like and then he's like, "Oh, you go to the gym?" And he's like, "Oh, not really. Like, I used to go a year ago." You know, it's just like these people hardly go to the gym and they know who Chris Bumstead is. So I'm like,
well, that's the Sulek guy. I had
James
somebody ask
Sulek,
me about. Yes, I had like a random person ask me about that on I think it was Tinder, because they were asking what like my passion was. And they're like, "Oh, do you know who Sam?"
Did you say your
Sulek,
passion, Sam Sulek?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Sam Sulek. The guy that competed in like early 2000s?
No, the YouTuber.
No.
Like he's like crazy popular right now.
Yeah, he's signed by Hostile.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh, that
Yeah.
guy. All right.
Yeah, with the hair and the
I'm thinking
hat.
of Samuel, whatever I was thinking of.
Yeah, Greg Doucette gives him a hard time for drinking, you know, gallon of chocolate.
I honestly, when I see his videos, I don't watch them. I'm not hating on the guy. I'm not interested. He needs a haircut, first of all.
No. But
Some people
Mark,
used to say about
trademark
Carlos. Yeah, it's good.
Mark, you're giving him a hard time about having long hair, dude.
Mm.
I don't. Oh, geez, Louise, look at that.
Oh, geez, yeah. What's back there? Yeah. Mark,
I forgot that.
Sam Sulek's making bank. I started to add up because his videos aren't short either, and the views are like insanity. Like he's getting I think he's getting over 1.3 million views a day or something like that.
Go to Social Blade. It shows you how much he makes.
Yeah.
It's insanity. And it's not like he's pumping out tons of clips like shorts or anything like that, so that make not much money. So it's like he's just making, like, it would have to be
just hired a guy.
Did he?
Just hire. I'm saying like just hire someone to do shorts. Like,
oh
yeah,
my
gosh.
Yeah.
He'd be set.
Because he's making probably 10 grand a day now, US, I reckon. So it's like you add that up and that's 300 grand a month. You know, it's like it's plus whatever endorsements or products that he decides to put out. Like he can be up to 25 grand a day. Like he's got over 2 million subs like quickly. When you look at the Social Blade, it's like subscribers went up. Literally, you compared the start of this year to where he's at now, it's completely different. Like it is like almost nothing to huge.
Jeez. Be able to get himself a brand new pair of shoes.
And a new hat.
Yeah, every day.
Yes, because he does
day.
wear hats. Yeah.
Every day, morning, noon, and night, if he so chooses. But why? Why is it that this individual has had this seemingly overnight success, man? I mean, you look at his videos, they're raw, you know, there's nothing extremely visually enticing that I have to go for, really, and I enjoy doing it, but like what is it about Sam Sulek that resonates with people on that level? Like, is it the fact that it is that obviously the physique, obviously, you know, he has it, but he's not an active competitor, you know, like what is it about this guy?
He's got the look, and there's like a room in public. There's like not a public outcry, but they would like to have this figure that's not necessarily a top pro, like a Callum von Moger, like that they really want to just get behind and enjoy for some reason. I don't personally see the interest in it, but it's like this public figure that they need to have. And there's no more Callum. It's like a cocky young guy that goes and does stuff.
He's
I
not
haven't
cocky,
watched.
dude.
I
He's not.
haven't.
He's not
No,
a.
no, no. But
He's not a
you know what
cocky
I mean.
guy.
Like, it's a look that he has. Like, whatever. Like, he doesn't really care about what he looks like or whatever. Not cocky, but
no, because he's not.
I haven't watched a single thing on him, so really, I don't. I'm just going by what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mark's being the old man there right now.
Cereal with Fuad. Was that the guy eating cereal?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't stand the noise of people eating, so I turned that right off. Especially crunchy cereal. I'm like, good Lord, these people should be punished for posting this. But anyway.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I mean, look, like you said, Xavier, he's making bank, dude. Sam, keep doing what you're doing. That's
it's good. I'm happy for him, man. That's great.
I'll say one thing about it. Like one part of the appeal, I think, is that you can tell he's completely authentically himself. So when he's doing his videos, he's like, yeah, I'll get a sick pump and then I'll take off my pump cover and we'll have a look at what's going on. You know, and he's just got this like easy to listen to voice. Plus he's just authentically himself. And I think for like, because I've watched a few of the videos to see what it's about, and it's almost like you can just have him on listening to him, just talking in the car, and his enthusiasm for bodybuilding and then just how he structures it in his life and talking about it. It's like, it almost helps you structure it in your own mind. Yeah, I should make sure I think about my timing, and you want to have a certain amount of time to train. And he just sort of, I don't know, I think he sort of covers all the demographics, and especially the young people as well, because they're like, you know, there's a lot of younger guys than him, which we sometimes don't think about, that are looking up to him. He looks like a big, giant kid,
right?
I was just telling the boys before we signed on. I've got a brother. He's 20 years old, and he's really into training. Like, he's really into it, right? And he was asking me about Sam Sulek. He's and like I said, my brother's 20 years old, and he was like, "You ever hear this Sam Sulek guy?" I was like, yeah.
When did he become like all this? When did he start becoming famous? Like,
it was like the last year. Yeah.
Maybe not even a year ago.
With the Liver King's fall, because they get the long wild hair, and you know nobody likes him anymore. So
interesting. Yeah.
Well, they're like, Sam doesn't deny it.
No, like you said, he really is just authentically himself. You know, he is. And when it comes to content creators, that will resonate through to people, even from the other side of a computer screen or a camera. It really will, you know. No, it really will.
So he had back in where is it? Monthly gained video. So back in May 2023, he gained like 24,000 subscribers that month. The month before was like the same. So the start of this year, or earlier on this year, not even the start. Then it was like he had 53,000 the next month, then 109,000 the next month, 206. And this is how many he's gaining each month too. 206. In September, he had 287. In October, he had an extra 648,000 subscribers in 1 month.
Come on.
And then in October, he had 560,000 new subscribers. Like, that is just well over 1 million in the last month, new subscribers. Like, it's insanity.
So how many does he have altogether, like in the millions?
2 point something, I think it is. So
enough.
But he's gained most of it.
Power doesn't even have 2 million.
2.18 million.
Insanity.
Wow.
No.
And
mostly this year too.
Xavier, you went well past 50 grand or 50,000.
Yeah, I think I've had about 4,000 this month, but it's not how many 648,000. it's like 4.
Not yet, dude. Not yet. Here, you want me to get on my stats? I got like 400, dude.
You're doing awesome for the amount of time you've been going.
Oh man, look, I'm good, you know. That's one thing that I did realize, whether it be competitive bodybuilding or bodybuilding coverage, got to put in your time, man, and I'm putting it in. And I'm learning along the way to be able to get to that level, so that when I am there, I'm not, frankly, overwhelmed. it's on a good level now, and I'm very, very happy with how things are going. The fans, dude, the comments that I get are unbelievable. I had a couple of buddies over there on Friday. We were playing some music, and I showed the boys, even from, and look, everybody knows that I respond to of the vast majority of my comments, but it's at the point now where I can't keep up. I was scrolling through my phone, and I just showed the boys. I was like, boys, this is stuff that I haven't commented on, right? And then I scrolled through and I showed them stuff of the things that I do comment on. I'm like, I can't even keep up anymore. I'm so pleased with the amount of response that I get from my videos, that everything else, it just shows it's coming, you know. Even doing stuff like this time last year, I didn't have a podcast, right? You know, now I've got like this is it, you know. I've got you guys on here. It's fantastic. I have zero complaints with the way things are going. It's great.
Yeah, things are going really well, man. So it's just keep doing your thing, you know. Like it's, and the thing is as well, I find these days subscriber numbers don't matter as much for certain channels, and for bodybuilding news and stuff, it doesn't seem to. Some people now, because there's several bodybuilding news outlets and channels and things like that, but it's like they're like, oh, I'll get it in my feed anyway because YouTube's so much better at recommending videos. So like if someone watches a decent amount of your videos, like there's a few channels that I'm not subscribed to because they post either way too much content or I've just haven't realized I haven't subscribed. And their videos, just every time I put out a new video, it almost pops up, or if it's something in my interest, you know what I mean? So if it's like they post way too many videos, generally the ones I'm most interested in will pop up on the browse feature. So I'm like, okay, cool, there it is. But there's one channel I realized, I'm like, I've been watching their videos for months and I haven't even been subscribed. But pretty much every single one popped up that I wanted to watch. So I was like, should I stay unsubscribed? So, yeah.
It's just, you're right about the subscriber count. It's not like it was, but the views are there. And you know what? Past that right now, I'm good, man. Like the subscribers are going to come. They will. But I do.
Yeah,
sorry. No, sorry. Go ahead.
If you look at my history of like the Olympia goes up, right? I'm sure you guys are the exact same way, but it gets a little higher every year. But the subscriber spike is the highest back when I first started, because there's a large group of people that, you know, they just discovered me. And once they discover you, you know, they're already subscribed to you. And then I guess the rest will follow. But I don't think you're ever going to get as big per amount of views you're getting as you do when you're first hitting the scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm sure, you know, channels are different. There's other channels are different.
That's right. No, and this is bodybuilding, right? This is where it's at. And like I said, the fan engagement is there right now, and that's why I started was to talk bodybuilding, right? So I'm good right now, man. You know, I'm good. I've got some questions from fans. You guys want to do a couple questions?
Sure.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones.
That was a thumb.
That was a thumb. Thank you for clarifying. Let's see. Okay. If each of you could spend one day with any bodybuilder ever, you know, talking, training, hanging out, who would each of you pick and why? So one day with any bodybuilder at any point in time, any era, anything, right? Who would
any
you
point
pick?
In time?
It said if each of you could spend one day with any bodybuilder ever, talking, training, hanging out. So I'm assuming that means, you know, from any point, not just now.
Who's going first?
I've got some names. I've got some interesting ones. So like some bodybuilders I'd like be interested to know what they're like, but I don't know if I'd want to hang out with them. Like Craig Titus. Like I heard he was a loose cannon. Like okay.
You want to hang out with the loose cannon?
Yeah, I just want to know. Like as long as I can be transported back and not die, then I'm good.
Fair, yeah.
What's the other guy's name? The guy that went to jail for murder, but he's out of jail now.
Bertle Fox.
Bertle Fox. Yeah, brutal Bertle Fox.
Bertle Fox.
Like him. Find out what he's really like. But I don't know. I feel like he's out of jail now too. And the idea, when I think about it in reality, I'm like, sort of creeps me out a little bit. But like Sergio Oliva Senior would be interesting, but probably Arnold, man. Like you'd probably want to spend your day with Arnold realistically. I think
Arnold would be a good one. Yeah. For obvious
Arnold in his
reasons,
prime.
really. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Arnold would be a good one. Man, I tell you, just because I was such a big fan of him, I I don't know. You heard a lot of stories about how he wasn't really, and I don't want to speak ill because he's since passed, but just to be able to train and stuff. Rich Piana, I'd like to be able to go back and train with him for sure. Rich, that like when he did the Bigger by the Day series, dude, I was just I was obsessed with it, man. I was like, I look back now and I'm like, the fuck was this guy thinking? Like, this is nuts, dude. But at the he had he had so many people engaged in that, and it was incredible. So Rich would definitely be one. Rich would be one for me. I don't know who else.
You know what's funny? I actually I never got into the Rich Piana thing. I saw more of his stuff actually after he passed. Because you know when someone passes, you go, oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about him really. Yeah. You went and looked at his stuff. And I was like, oh, he's way more engaging and better than I thought he was. Like I only ever heard him on Marx Muscle, and it's like interviews with Dave and stuff like that. You only get like a snippet of who they are. So I thought like he's much cooler than I thought. But I actually interviewed him because I had a sponsor when I was with RX Muscle Australia. So I ran the RX Muscle Australia thing. And this is at I think it was before as the
I had no idea you did that.
It was back in the day. Yeah. This is many years ago. Yeah. Because I brought awesome. Dave. I brought Aaron Singerman out to Australia for where I think it's the year before the Arnold or the first year of the Arnold. And then the next year I brought Dave and Aaron out. And then I think, because after Aaron came, then he said like, hey, Dave, there's a market for this in Australia. Like we could do this. And they just basically wanted me to get like someone to pay one sponsorship, which was enough money, which was a decent amount of money. And then all the other sponsors, I got to keep their money essentially. So that's just how that worked back then. And it was cool while it lasted. But then I know RX were a bit in trouble with the federation a little bit. And I'm like, am I going to lose all my media passes? Because some of my sponsors were like, oh, you cover shows all throughout Australia. Cool. Wow. But I was like, it was getting tense when I was going to get media passes. Like, oh, we heard you do this after our shows and you talk about sex and stuff on there. We don't know if we want this. Or I'd make a comment on a competitor, which was I was very diplomatic. So saying like, but I'd comment on every single person competing in the nationals, every single person, every show. So I'd say like, great back, legs could be tighter and stuff like that. And a few competitors said something to people and were like, oh, this guy said my legs were fat. I'm like, well, I didn't say that at all. So it got too tense. But I don't know where I was going with this whole story.
Okay, here, Rich Piana.
Anyway, when I was with them, I interviewed Rich at the Arnold Classic Australia, but I didn't know that much about him. But I just sort of winged it, and it was so loud. When you're in expos, I'm sure you guys know, obviously, and it's the music and everything's pumping. And when you're on a microphone, you don't hear it as much. You hear it in the background of a microphone, but it can be, I'm hearing the music louder than I'm hearing his voice. So it's like, it was a challenge. I remember it was real loud at the time. So I'm like, feel like I'm yelling, and then he's like having to yell, and I'm like leaning in. But yeah, his arms definitely weren't all loyal as
loyal. Yeah.
No, they certainly were not. And the only the big reason I say Rich is because he was all about the gains, and that came through, and that's why I would really like to go. I'd really like to go and train with him. Anyway, Saunch, who would you train with?
Oh man, I guess I looked at this way differently. So I looked at it from like a business point of view, and I was thinking being able to like be in the room with like Ben Weeder.
Pull some strings with Ben. Yes.
Yeah. Well, because I got to meet Dan Solomon and did an interview with him at the Olympia, and that was amazing.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
So Ben Weeder was the first one for the business. I thought a mixture between Chris Bumstead and Flex Wheeler for like mental health and just like how to build a balanced, structured life. Because these are all things I'm looking at this like, what am I interested in? So those are kind of the big ones. And then I finished it off with Phil Heath for more like complete mindset and business orientated, family orientated. I would love to just hear his story on being the villain for so long and if that was structured or if that was on purpose, or how he was able to balance the negative with the real life, effects of that. I thought that would just be, all that would be a lot of fun. So I can't really say one person, but there's 4.
Mm.
Your answer is way better than mine. I just wanted to hang out with Rich because he's huge, dude.
Oh, my bad.
Way better than mine. Mark, what do you got?
There can be only one choice for Marx Max Muscle. Corey Everson, of course.
Ooh. And tell
Refresh
us
my
why.
memory,
on the
please.
hotness factor.
Tanning, right? You're going tanning.
Okay.
You're going tanning together, right?
Wait, as you are the history aficionado of bodybuilding, please explain to the fans, and certainly not me, on who that individual would be.
She, not he, is the former Miss Olympia.
Thank you. Okay.
Multiple.
But what? But why?
Because she's purdy.
Dirty old man.
Mark went a whole other way.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was just a
like
kid
it
when she was around.
Dude. Look,
it's smart saying an older one now, but you can go back, because if you start to say like current day ones, it's like
It's at any time.
Yeah.
Current Natalia Coelho.
I was just gonna say, you're gonna say Natalia if it's current.
Yeah, Natalia's awesome, man.
Yeah. She is
No,
a
that's
saint.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Great
This
question.
isn't a bad. Have you guys ever thought about covering shows like Mr. USA and Nationals? This question's come up for me before. Saunch, I know that you have. You have plans to this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I got to look at what national show. I think it's the USA's in Las Vegas. I do plan on going there, and I actually met up with Jared Feathers with Renaissance Periodization,
Very good,
there might be some cool collaborations going on there. So yeah, that definitely. I'm always open to doing NPC shows and natural shows. The promoters just have to work with me, but press credentials. If it's traveling, I'm only like 6 hours from Las Vegas or from LA, and I'm like 7 hours from Las Vegas, so I can drive to these places. Promoters have to be accommodating. That's all. But if anyone's listening, I'm very open to travel for shows. Yeah, I'm here to work.
Yep.
That's how you build connections as well.
Yeah.
Like going to shows, like when I was doing it on an Australian level, it was like you'd have so much better connections. And, I'd go to shows and it feels like I know tons of people there. You know what I mean? You just go around, tons of the people in the audience, tons of the people competing. It was just like, and there's almost like a mutual respect for you, the fact that you're going out there and doing it. Although sometimes in the past with me, with some promoters, they make your life hard when it's like, hey, think about this for your next year's competition. If you have someone covering it, providing free pictures and free, maybe they don't do that as much these days because photographers and the contracts they have and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
if you got someone promoting your contest for future years, it should be easy to get sponsors for the show and easy to get competitors in the future years coming up, because people want you there. Like people want all your websites covering their show because they should want it anyway, because the competitors want it and the fans want it, and it's not taking away from people going and rocking up to NPC shows, because most of the people there are pretty much family and friends.
Yep.
Let's face it.
Yep.
That's how
So
it is.
I think,
so it's not going to stop someone going there.
Well, look, further to that point, when it comes to coverage of the NPC shows, national shows, Mr. USA shows, it's difficult from my position, your position. Saunch, you are near these shows. That's great. The coverage is not there for us in order to receive the content to put it out there on our channels a lot of the times for these shows. Certainly not like it is when it comes to, these IFBB Pro shows, right? There are decent photographers that go there, and there are definitely pictures that you can get and stuff like that. But when it comes to video and things like that, you just simply don't have as much coverage. So it's difficult for me to cover it when it comes to that stuff. And frankly speaking, to be 100% honest, unless it is an individual that shows a lot of promise coming up into the pro league at this point, I don't think that I would have the time that I could invest into covering that stuff on a regular basis, because I have to look after my 2 kids, look after my commercial diving business, continue to grow this channel with what I have now. And the focus, I think, for my audience is there for the pros right now. I think that everybody coming up should get their due, but at the same time, I feel like when it comes to these national shows, Mr. USA and stuff like that, you make it to the pro league and you'll get your due. You will, if you've got any kind of chops, people are going to find you.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, you can hurt your channel. Just say I do a video and I pull pictures from the NPC Northwest Classic or whatever show. I don't even know if it's a show, but for example, just a smaller show, and I do that on my channel now. That video gets a maximum of 1,000 views for me. It's like, and that bastardizes my other videos because it literally tells YouTube, okay, this isn't doing as well. And I've seen it on other channels too. I think it's happened before.
Look at my channel right now
in our industry. Well, sometimes it's one of those things you sort of learn along the way. Like sometimes, like I've had people ask me to do interviews. There's actually someone that's asked me that I need to do an interview with, but because I've said yes. But also, it's like if I do interviews with 5 of you guys and I drop it in between all my other videos, my other videos will do worse, and overall I'm going to get less views from doing all this extra work, and it sucks. But it's literally the nature of a beast.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
I've gone through that with the other divisions, like even 212 division right now. I just did. I haven't been, but if you guys noticed, I just made a Shiru Classic 212. Guess how many subscribers I got out of that? I lost some because it's 212.
Negative. Yep.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, surely Sunit Jodhov is in this. I figured I'm going to throw in Classic, but every single 212, not only are the views down, but I lose subscribers. And that's why I had to be rid of all female divisions. You can see, even on my Social Blade, you can go back and see there's a couple of dates where my subscribers go down. You can look those videos right up on the same dates. On the exact same date, I made videos of women bodybuilders. It's like, I like women.
Olympia, I noticed this.
If I can't, like Xavier said, it's gonna hurt your overall channel.
Your audience has an expectation for what you're going to be putting out there, and that's not to take away from these other divisions at all. Zero. But your audience does have an expectation. So the nationals and the Mr. USA, if it's a blowout competitor, yeah, I don't care what show you're doing, I'll cover you. You're going to be thrown up there. But otherwise, get your chops up and you'll make it on the channel.
Nick Walker, I mean, we were making videos on him, I'm sure, when he was still at PC.
Okay.
I think if there's anything we want to cover, like in terms of stuff like that, we could maybe do it through like Instagram Reels or things like that, maybe where we do a quick 1-minute one or something, because that's an idea where I don't think it's going to hurt you so much on Instagram that would hurt you on other stuff. And you might get more shares from, if you cover 5 guys or guys and girls, whatever, in a contest that's, either a pro women's contest or it's a big NPC show or something like that, and you didn't want to cover it on your channel, maybe sometimes a 1-minute, 2-minute reel or whatever. How long can you make reels these days? I don't even know.
60 seconds on YouTube. Or that's short. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
I think you can do a reel up to either a minute or a minute and a half. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did I see videos like that? You open and they're like 3-4 minutes. I'm like, how does that even work? Like, I thought there's a limit. I don't know.
I don't make long enough ones, but stories, reels, I don't know. I'm not sure. Stories are 60 seconds. I know that. These guys have to keep doing them. Okay. Here's another one. If James Flex Lewis were to come out of retirement, how would he have done at the Olympia in the Open
this year?
Let's see. Well,
or when he was supposed to.
When was he?
How would he have done?
2020.
How would he have done at the Olympia in the Open? Also, if Keon was in the Open, where do you see him? Rumor is Jake Wood and Dan Solomon are trying to get Flex Lewis to make a comeback. That's not a rumor I've heard.
No, I don't think he's making a comeback.
I don't.
Well, Nick Strength and Power just posted a video talking about Flex maybe coming back, so I'm sure we'll watch that once we're done with this. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No,
Okay.
I saw that one. I think he was talking about how Flex seems to have the physique to have the ability to make the comeback. I don't know if he
Oh,
was
Yeah.
talking about.
He just posted
Yeah.
an update.
Yep.
Yeah,
47 minutes
Yeah.
ago.
yeah, and yeah, he looks, dude. Flex Lewis looks great.
He's
I
in
know that
shape.
he's taken. Yo, he is. Yeah, he's always been in shape. Even the fact that he's taken time off of weight training, over the past while, however long. Yeah, the guy's still in shape. I mean, he won, what was it, 7 Olympia titles?
7.
Yep.
7.
Yeah, you're gonna be in shape. How would he have done at the Olympia this year? I don't know. Prime Flex Lewis, in the open lineup this year. I don't know, man. He might have been pushing for a tops, like probably right there with Hunter. Maybe right behind him. I don't know.
He would have been entering the prey back in like 2020 though. He would have been already established sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
It's
Sam,
hard.
I
It's hard to
think
toss him right into this year without seeing
it
where he
is.
would have been placing.
Yeah.
He was pretty friggin' dry from behind, man. Like a Derek Lunsford.
He was.
I've heard
Hard to
from
say.
multiple sources, and I'm talking like IFB pros, people that are in the same gyms and talk to the coaches, all that sort of stuff. But Flex Lewis, in terms of what he took, staying in 212, was probably lower than almost any pro. You know what I mean? Like any open
Levels of gear, you mean?
212 guy. Yeah, yeah. Like so.
Well, look at his genetics.
I,
Look at his forearms and his calves. You
mm,
can't build that with gear. I don't care. Look at the guys that
yeah.
are taking the gear, and they have tiny little wee calves. The guy was obviously a genetic
Yeah, yeah.
specimen. Huge
Yeah.
forearm.
And obviously he wasn't able to do it because of his gut issues and things like that. Like if you're vomiting and having issues like that, you just can't. You just can't do it, I actually wondered if he had more stem cells and things like that, like IV stem cells, if that could have helped any of those gut issues and repair it more so. Because I know you have the localized stem cells. I don't know if you had them IV as well. But yeah, like I think Flex would have done really well because before he won the 212 Olympia, he actually did open shows and he was in the Arnold Classic Spain or whatever, Europe or whatever it was back in the day. And I know that Victor Martinez, I think, won it. Then we had Dexter in second, and I think he was in third or something like that. Like he was looking good. He's beating other good open guys then, and he got better than that.
I don't think there was.
Then he could obviously, or 202 or whatever it was back then. But he really was getting good in open. Like I was upset that there was such a big part of his career where he wasn't doing open, where he wasn't progressing, because I love to see the physique progression.
Mm-hmm.
And he's progressing in little ways, and year to year be a little bit better, or maybe slightly off or whatever. So there was excitement in a way, but I would have loved to see him being able to push it earlier in his career where he perhaps wouldn't have had those gut issues and stuff. And
no, he had 7 years
if he needed to. Yeah.
He would have done
when he was preparing for the open and he was looking, absolutely massive too. Like I said, I wouldn't put top 6 past him this year for what he could have been. Say top 6. Sure. No question, really.
I would say right up in there. Like if he had a full year to prepare for open, like if he went from his 212 winning form, full year, or like he could do anything. Because
I'm thinking he would have beat Curry. I'm thinking he would have definitely beat Curry.
Yeah. What about Keon?
Keon, I don't know if he would be able to hold his own in terms of condition of these big guys. He might be close to being the condition of some of them, but they're going to be so much bigger than him. Like he might be close to the same size and even shape of a Derek Lunsford, but look how much more crisp Lunsford is from behind. Not even close.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on Keon. I love Keon's physique. Love Keon's physique.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, in Clarita, I think about it, and Clarita beat William Bonac at the Arnold, and Bonac wasn't bad. It's not like he was like bad or anything like that.
Did Clarita?
But then,
he did beat Bonac.
Yeah, Clarita beat him by 1 spot. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, Keon beat Clarita, but at the same time, I don't think Clarita was as good at the Olympia. Like he was apparently an extra 6 pounds or something from last year's, or 7 pounds from last year's Olympia. But when he crunched down on his abs, there was no pop to the middle of his abs. It was almost they didn't come out. You saw the intercostals and serratus, but the middle part was just I don't know if he's having bloating issues or what it was, but he just
it wasn't
couldn't
pretty.
crunch those middle abs. And for me, I think that's literally what lost it for him. Because if he could crunch those middle abs and it looked fine like that, I would have given him the win. But otherwise, I was like, you can argue it either way. They're completely different physiques. But I still think that Clarita, with that same physique that he did the Olympia in, I think that would do better in the Open than what Keon's physique would do in the Open Olympia. Just because I think the gnarliness and hardness would match up better in the Open. Even though Clarita has a crazy shape, I just think that his conditioning still wouldn't have looked as good in the Open. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it comes to this and where Keon would have placed in the Open, though, I'd probably put him somewhere. Stand him next to Tony O'Burton, and you've got a comparison happening there.
That's a real good one right there.
Yeah. So would he have beaten Tonio? I don't think so. So if you go next in line, would he have beaten Regan? I don't think so. Would he have beaten Charles Griffin? I don't think so. So I would put Keon, as of right now, outside the top 10.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But do you know what the thing is about Keon? Keon is getting better every show. So, like, I'm not sliding Keon because I love Keon. I was talking to him days prior to the Olympia.
I'm not hating on him either.
Oh, this is strictly based on strictly based off of the physique that he presented at this year's Olympia. Next year, and especially when he has intention to go Open, I mean, with his structure and his potential, dude, he'll be well inside the top 10. For this physique in particular, I'm gonna say outside the top 10.
Will he get an invite to the Arnold Classic?
Okay, the Arnold Classic. I thought you were gonna say the Open.
Well, yeah, the Open Arnold. Or are they making an announcement that there is 212 at the Arnold Classic this year?
Oh, I doubt it. I
thought there was an announcement.
We were hopeful.
I said to Brian Powers, I said just add 212 back. I said to him this when the Arnold was on. I said just add the 212 back and you've nailed it 100%. You know, like by increasing the prize money, like what they're doing in terms of their coverage and stuff like that.
Yeah, 212 and at least one women's muscle division, figure, physique, or open bodybuilding. Like you gotta show some love to the muscle women.
Away.
Yeah, you gotta have one muscle women's division. It's just, you gotta show some love.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see Keon invited to the Arnold because Sean was last year 212 champion. Give him the same opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. It'd be interesting. Okay, what else do I got here? Let's see. Speaking of the Nationals, 3 open guys on the come up that you see making a statement. For example, Quentin, Carlos Thomas Jr., anybody like that. Well, those are 2 good ones for sure.
Those are my 2. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, there's a few. Definitely Carlos.
I think
Force MD.
I think Martin, even though he's placed second at a show and he's did the year prior as well and placed in top 5, I still think that he's going under the radar a bit.
100%.
Because in the off season,
yes,
the back isn't like detailed and crazy like it is on stage. And from the back, he is like wild. He needs to get a bit harder from the front. He has a little bit of that Derek Lunsford, like when he's hitting the front double and stuff. He's got a little bit of that softness still on his physique, but he's so round, like the quads are round. It's still a nice shape, and he's bringing that in a bit better. The arms are getting a little bit bigger. I think that considering the way he looked against a good Andrew Jacked, like I'm just like that excites me for Martin's future. So yeah, I think Martin one of them, and not just because he comes on my podcast. Like genuinely, I think that he's a guy that's coming up, but also like Tonio, like in EP09. You had Tonio on your channel, and he said about potentially going into the 212 next year, which I felt like that was on your channel, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome because I think Tonio is a legit contender to win that 212 Olympia next year if he does it,
Oh, Tonio won't go back to 212 from what he told me.
Oh, really?
No. He wants to battle it out in the Open, and I think he should. I think he should.
It sounds like he was considering it though. But like, if you could win the 212, I think if he was doing it, I'd pick him to win the Olympia this year. He's 212 on the day of the Olympia.
He was 212.8. He sent me a picture of the scale. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, unbelievable, dude. If he did go back and win it and then came back to it'd be a good story. It would be
awesome storyline. Yeah.
He also told me that he's up like he gained like 28 pounds. Partway through his rebound.
they're so dry. Anything they touch, they absorb.
Doesn't happen. Everybody. Charles Griffin told me he only gained a few pounds.
No, not everybody. But I mean, I'm sure it has happened. Like
28 pounds, dude. That's a lot. Like
Larry Wills gained more than that, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did. But Larry Wills was asking for it.
Like 50.
Yeah. But I tell you, I mean, the only other one that I can think of is honestly Brett Wilkin. He's on his way. Yeah. Brett Wilkin is definitely on his way.
I mean, he's won a pro show. Is it still coming up?
Well, we just talked about Tonio. I guess Tonio's arrived as well. Yeah. No, I mean,
top 8 in the world.
Can come up.
He's there.
Is Beirut Benny considered an up and comer, or is he already here?
Nah, he's
an Arnold Classic champion.
He's arrived. Yeah.
You know who's won? You know who's won? You remember Wellington?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Crazy.
Wellington.
Yeah.
Yes,
I haven't seen anything
Wellington
from him in a while.
Niscau. Yeah, he was second behind Beirut at the Arnold Brazil.
Yeah, the Brazil. Yeah,
he was. Yeah,
he's a good one. Beef stew. Yeah. Beef stew.
He's on his way up. Yeah,
beef stew. Another
his
one.
Last updates. He was huge, and in terms of what he told me, in terms of when, like, because he was pretty open about it on social media about when he wasn't on a cycle or he just started and stuff like that. So he's like. I'm like, near the start of a cycle, you look like your absolute peak off-season monster size. So I'm like, okay, if you're only going to get a bit bigger, then that's pretty scary for everyone because I don't think he was far behind Tonio. I still had Tonio first, Beef Stew clear second, and then it was like everyone else, that New York pro. And I think that he came in worse the next weekend, which sort of took the shine off a little bit.
Absolutely.
So the fact that he came in a little bit worse. And when Ross was in there and I think someone else, Sergio maybe beat him as well, maybe. And I was like, that's not what he brought the week prior in New York. So, and I think he can improve things too, like his stage presentation, like smiling and not looking depressed on stage. I said that to him, and he's like, it shouldn't really matter, blah, 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 and he wasn't going to do it. And then I think a few of us sort of on Bodybuilding University, talked him into it. And I even did the thumbnail and I put a smile on his face, in the little thumbnail. So we're talking him into it. So
no, Beef Stew is a good one. I feel like he's kind of arrived a little bit in terms of notoriety in professional bodybuilding, but in terms of placings, he's on his way up. In 2024 is going to be a really good season for him because, like you said, he's looking massive right now, dude. He's looking massive. No, he's going to end up doing well.
Did you guys see? Did you see my interviews with Jason at the Olympia?
Jason Lowe.
You see how big he is?
Yeah.
He's coming up.
He made your arms look small. I can't believe it.
I got a lot of compliments. People are like, "Wow, Saunch looks like he's a pro." I'm like, "No, I'm just tall. It's different."
You're funny when you talk all the way, big dude.
Yeah, I'm like 6'2", like 230. So I'm not small. But Jason is going to be exciting, man. I have predictions. He's going to make history being one of the only bodybuilders to be a classic Olympian, a 212 Olympian. And soon, he's, I think he placed top 6 or top 8 at Orlando. So there's only a matter of time before he wins an open pro show and becomes a 3 category Olympia contender.
Stan DeLongo do that? No, he wouldn't have. He would
not open yet.
Not yet.
He didn't do 212 either.
Yeah, he did.
No, but he did men's physique.
Right.
He did men's physique and then classic, I believe.
Right.
Oh, that counts.
Right. I guess it's a different road.
It's still 3 though.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about Jason Lowe. There's another one.
I've been following Jason for a while now.
Yeah.
a bunch of guys I'm forgetting, I know, because I think about how many good guys are coming up. And Quentin was mentioned, obviously. He can be real special.
Needs to work on that back.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yep. And also the other thing for Quentin is his posing. Like the one thing I notice in videos is he's a bit shaky when he poses, so he'll sort of adjusting. It feels like the whole time. And I said to him, just try to
a lot of the back
those
shots
poses
have
and
to do it the way he's posing.
I interviewed Quentin at the Olympia and I asked him about that. And what he said is, I mean, I'll spoil the interview for you guys, but he said it was a tip from his posing coach. The posing coach was telling him to like flex really hard in every shot, and that's why he was shaking all the time.
Oh,
so
really?
Now, it was something simple like that. It wasn't like anything crazy, and I was shocked when he said that. So he has a new posing coach now, and he says there's no shaking anymore.
Yeah, they say not to flex too hard in all the poses.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be
Xavier, you've been on stage. Like you don't squeeze too hard. You learn to squeeze just enough.
There's it'd be close between flexing your hardest and just enough. Very close.
Yeah.
Like I'm going by what the pros are saying, like me watching interviews.
Yeah, you're flexing like 90%, because if you flex as hard as you can, like if you just go as hard as possible and you start to do that, like your hands just start to shake a little bit. And I've been on stage where I feel like I'm shaking, but I'm not. So to the people that you see shaking, it must feel like you're having like a seizure on stage, because like I'm like that, and maybe I'm shaking like this where you can't really see it. I'm not, but I feel like I'm like this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm shaking. So you try to pull it back a little bit and how hard you're flexing. But I know that I probably flexed too hard. Like when I did men's physique, men's bikini, whatever you want to call it. Like when I was standing there on stage the first time I competed, I stayed on my abs so hard. And that was probably just about the most painful it's been for me on stage before, because my abs were like cramping up. So when men's physique guys, they do the movements and stuff. Like I was doing this thing where I pull my arm across my body and flex my tricep, which looked good. So I was showing off my back and the like smaller waist and stuff. But it was literally to give my abs a rest, because like I couldn't stay on them because I felt like they were just cramping and locking up. And I'm like, I could not wait to turn to the back and do a back pose. So I was just like, oh yes, I get to just expand and open it up. But yeah, it's you don't want to pose 100% all the time, because you see guys doing that. And I feel like Baru's this past weekend was like posing and shaking, and he was staying on both toes to do his rear poses, and he's shaking like this. I'm like, it is such a distraction. Like if you just lock it,
bit much, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit stressful to watch.
You could see it, like he was trying to emphasize the conditioning. It's like, dude, we know you're shredded.
Like the glutes. He was flexing his glutes to go with the music, and it's like, well, flex them and hold them flexed. You're ripped.
Cool.
But having said that, he was shredded. He was very impressive.
Like I said, and that was abundantly evident without the excessive flexes to the glutes. That's for sure.
And it's the shaking that added to it too, because if he like flexed his glutes and then let him off for 1 second and just goes bang and just flexes them again and real hard and like precise movements, it would look fine. It's just the fact he's shaking and it's like do. Like you just can't do that. Like it just.
Do you guys remember blessing Awadibu? I think it was his first couple of shows that he did, because he did the same 2 shows the next year and he won both of them. But it was the first year
in New York.
He was trying to do his tippy toe. He was going tippy toe in both back shots, and he was just vibrating like he was holding a jackhammer or something. He was maybe the worst shaker I've ever seen.
Yeah. He's gonna have a good season coming up here too. He still hasn't hit his mark yet. Not yet.
Let's hope.
One other guy, Morgan McDonald. I don't know if you guys if you guys know Morgan McDonald. Yeah.
I can't picture him right now, but I must know.
Newfoundlander American.
Oh, right. Yeah. Him and Robin.
Yeah.
Morgan just recently moved from Newfoundland to Ontario to train full time at Pure Muscle and Fitness. And I think that if he really puts on the size that I think he's going to put on, that he could be a future pro show winner. He's not only tall, but his frame, he looks like he can pack on that amount of muscle to his frame that could really make him fill out like proportionally. I think he could be a pro show winner, even potentially this year. We'll see how the offseason treats him. But I know he's pushing harder. He's up in the doses. He's up in the food. And he moved his whole life to do this, So watch out for Morgan McDonald. Yeah, watch out for Morgan. Okay, I got one more here. Okay, where was it? Okay, does judging in a bodybuilding contest operate like boxing, whereby if the contest is close, the benefit of the doubt goes to the defending champion as opposed to the challenger, or the challenger has to win convincingly? So, yeah, does judging in a bodybuilding contest operate like boxing, whereby if the contest is close, the benefit of the doubt goes to the defending champion as opposed to the challenger? It's kind of wordy. I don't.
Like they say, you have to knock the champion out.
That's what it's saying. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Long story short, yeah.
Yeah, I just repeated it twice, and that was completely unnecessary. Cool.
Well, what's his name? Just made a statement.
Yeah, Tyler Mannion just answered
I was
that.
trying to understand the question myself. Tyler did say that. Yeah. I don't think that you have to knock out the champ in order to win. No, I don't think it has to be a knockout punch.
Especially when he's a one-time champion.
Yeah, I was just gonna say back when Phil was running. Yes,
that's a dynasty. Phil Heath's a dynasty. This one-time championship stuff is nothing. It's slapstick. Get off the stage.
Well, the question is, does judging in a bodybuilding contest operate like that? And I mean, I'm not a judge. No, I don't think so. I don't think it does. There's always the comment of, bias amongst simply being a human being as a judge. But no, I don't think that comes into play as much as some conversations happen out there, especially from what I've heard from some judges that make comments out there, Tarek El-Gindi and even, Paul Ozon. I just don't think it's that much of a factor. So convincingly, I think that it does have to be a convincing enough victory, although we have seen controversial decisions. But generally speaking, no, I don't think it has to be, a convincing win. I think it has to be enough.
It's interesting because in the past, you've got more of a case for that you had to knock out the champ. Jay Cutler beating Victor Martinez. You got cases of Ronnie Coleman beating Jay Cutler in back in 2001. You've got way more of those than you've got the opposite way around. Like rather than someone just knocking out the champ and like the champ was really good. This year, you saw a little bit of that because some people think Hardy won, some people think Derek won. Slightly more of the fans think Hardy won, and there's people there that thought Hardy won as well, like up close to the stage. So this year sort of slapped that in the face. You know what I mean? That whole, you have to knock out the champ. We've had five different Mr. Olympias in the past 6 years. Yep. So it's like there's been 18 total.
Recent time.
Exactly. I think it is. I think it's the most changeover
back from like 79 to 84. There was a new champion every year. Frank Zane, Arnold, Franco, Chris Dickerson, Samir Banu, and then Lee Haney. That every year.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Mark knows this stuff.
There's some changes.
Yeah. What's crazy is that Mark can rhyme this off.
Yeah. If not for Ramy winning two in a row, I think there would be more now because we have Phil Heath, Sean Roden, Ramy, Brandon Curry, another one, and Hattie Shupin. That's 5.
Yeah. 5 and 6 is still it's a lot of changeover, but it's almost like set up now for someone to go on a run because I can't imagine we have like 9 in 10 years. We have 9 years.
Historically, it has to happen. It happens in World's Strongest Man competitions where one man, except in World's Strongest Man, it was kind of funny. It almost resembled the Olympia, except they would actually lose it one time here and there, whereas in bodybuilding they could tweak it where they would have kept them winning. But it seems like the history of humans, there needs to be one big bodybuilder champion. And we're waiting.
I'm almost ready for Derek to win 3 in a row or something, and then Samson come in. And I still love the changeover. So like, I wouldn't even mind if like Samson won. Yeah, Derek definitely could. I just did a video on that as well, and we discussed could Derek be the go to bodybuilding because he's only just turned 30 this year. So he's like one of the youngest guys on the Olympia stage, and he's the champion. So it's like Samson, yeah, he has the potential and he's still fresh for his age, but he's still late 30s, I think. So
is he really?
How old
he started
Samson?
late.
I thought he was. I looked him up on Google. It says he's 31, and I'm like, "There's no way he's 31."
No,
dude, I'm pretty sure he's like 38.
I thought he was like 42.
No,
he's not that old. Nah, he's
Howard said that. What's his name? Phil Clahar was like 67 years old or something.
I'm pretty sure that Samson's like 38.
I didn't even think he was that old. I thought Krizo was surprisingly old, but I don't think he is.
No, he's like 32, I think.
That's a young buck. Nick Walker's still a young buck too.
Yeah, he is. Oh yeah, Nick's.
I really hope Samson isn't 31. I'm seeing
I keep seeing 31, and it's blowing me away because when he first came on the scene, Fuad was saying, "Well, he's not a spring chicken." So I'm like, "Oh, so how old is he?"
I think he's like 37, 38.
Yeah, because he's been competing for 7 years,
a minute or two.
Yeah, because he did the 2018 Romania, I think it was.
There was the Monster Zim or something that he did.
Yep, in Korea.
He lost to what's his name?
Sung Chung Lee.
Yes, Chung Lee, I think his name.
See, no. There's no. You can't go.
Okay, I think I found his date of birth. I think I found it. I found this is on a find an update company information. It's Samson Dowder Limited, and it says fitness consultant, occupation in England. So I assume it's him. And it says date of birth. It says March 86, which would make him like 37.
That would make him 37. Yeah.
86.
Right.
Aren't you born in 86, Kenson?
I was born in 87, so I'll be 30. I'll be 36 in another like 6 weeks. Yeah. So yeah, that would put him at 37. So yeah, that's not that's coming up into prime, right? And you know, room to improve over the next couple of seasons for sure. But like you said about Derek, I think that the run is probably going to be there. The one thing I really liked about the runs with like Phil Heath, especially, and Coleman too, was that decisive victory, you know. But like Saunch, you were saying with Phil Heath about like he was known as the villain after a certain point in having so many victories. Was that planned? Was it not? Regardless, for me, it was there. And that was a certain image within, you know, the IFBB as well. Do they want somebody to have a run like that? Now, with that being said, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Derek Lunsford is not going to be a villain. He's just not going to be portrayed as that, right? Derek is just, he's too nice of a dude. It's just not going to happen.
Well, it seems like since Pumping Iron days, the Olympia champion had the bad guy gimmick. In Pumping Iron, Arnold was a bad guy, really. Lou was kind of the good guy, and
yeah, you're right.
So who's going to be the bad guy in 2024?
Patty Shupin, Nick Walker.
Nick could he could play a good bad guy, the ass man. Yeah.
But I think people are going to get behind him like they did with the 1998 Stone Cold Steve Austin. They want the bad guy.
People are behind Nick now, dude. People are behind him now. Big time.
They
Nick
might
has a huge following.
Derek Lunsford could be a bad guy if he's too nice of a guy. They'll hate it. And I hate to go back to pro wrestling again, talking about Stone Cold, but you remember the Rock? The Rock was such a nice guy when he first started. It was before the whole Rock gimmick that they were chanting like "Die Rocky Die" when he was all he was doing was acting like a perfectly nice gentleman. And I think that the masses might not like that. I don't know.
I think it's when as well, like even if you're a nice guy, if you're winning and you win enough times, and like Flex Lewis, people will like want to see Flex lose, even though he is the nicest guy, but he was probably the most liked along with Chris Bumstead in terms of Olympians, and people find with them winning multiple titles to a certain extent. Yeah. But even with Jay Cutler, awesome. Love Jay Cutler. But as soon as he missed it a little bit, Victor Martinez, he was hated. Like people were like, fridge cutler, this, that. It was brutal.
It
I imagine if that was today, it'd be even worse.
Didn't seem to bother him.
I think
Jay
it
Cutler,
did.
You think? Yeah. I think it would bother
he said
other people worse, though, it seems.
That year he beat Victor Martinez, he said that was, I think he said it was one of his worst years in bodybuilding, like because of it. You know, he came out to Australia. When was it? I think it was maybe after he beat Victor. And it was all a little bit like, even all the fans, you're like, everyone's saying, oh, you know, Victor Martinez should have won. And Jay Cutler's there guest posing. And I'm sure you get plenty of dumb fans that go up to him saying, do you think you should have beaten Victor? And then you got to answer that all the time. And he's out here for like weeks as well after he won the Olympia. You could tell deep down he just wanted to get home. Yeah.
The judges give him the victory. He didn't get, you know.
People don't get that.
Yeah.
Casual fans.
You know, even back then, all the talk, you'd see a magazine come out and you'd read the thing. And, you know, you might not have necessarily a right to reply easily online as well. So you've got to live with they're saying this. And obviously our exposure, if that was happening now, you'd see it in a magazine, you'd probably throw it in a bin. You wouldn't care. But because now it's just thousands of people you can't avoid it, you know, like even when I've gone to talk to like pros about a bit of news that's come out, like Brandon or something, you hear them say like, oh, you know, I can't avoid it. Someone's going to send it to me. But if I'm discussing it in a story, I want to check something with them.
Yeah.
They're going to find out about it. So I'm going to say, hey, just wanted to check. Did you see this? Did you want to make any comment on it? Blah, 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 or whatever. And it's awkward because you sort of don't want to just be thrown in their face, but at the same time, they're going to see it. You know, they're going to see it. So, it's a tough one.
Well, we still got the entire 2024 season ahead of us to find out what's going to happen this year anyway. And it's going to be, I've said it a number of times now in a number of videos, it's going to be a crazy, crazy season. We're going to have a ton to go over here. There's going to be the, like you said, the Arnold, Ohio's coming up, and then we'll have the UK shortly after that. And that's just where the season kicks off, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be nuts, man. It's gonna be a crazy season. Yeah. Last year was nuts. This year's gonna be even more. You know, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Man.
For now, guys, it's past my bedtime, and I got to get up and train tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna call it there.
Yep, been a good episode.
Yeah,
it was good. No, it was good. Listen, we'll like I said, we'll get back together here in I don't know, we'll figure out schedules and we'll get back together again. And appreciate you guys coming on as always.
Yeah, I can do this weekly, man. So whenever you want me, just let me know.
Yeah, no, listen, this was you, dude. You're a great addition to this, that's for sure. And you guys want to keep this up on a weekly basis? We'll keep it up.
There's enough shows to do it.
Yeah, there's definitely enough shows to do it. That's for sure. All right. Sounds good to me. You guys take it easy. I'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Appreciate it.
Later.
Yeah.